Right, for your viewing pleasure, here's the consonant analysis. I've actually been working on the text log of Morse code from the Titanic when it was sinking, so that's quite involved. I've only just managed to transcribe the text from a YouTube video, so I look forward to doing that, although it'll be slightly an involved job. In the meantime, I decided that I wanted to do something that was slightly shorter, which I came across while I was looking for information on how numbers are actually sent using Morse code, and I actually came across an article that said that Morse code had been discontinued as a subject with the Royal Navy at the end of 1997, so it hasn't been used since then. Naval officers, or sailors, they don't need to learn Morse code anymore. But one of the things I picked up from the article was the first message, the first message that was ever sent in Morse code by Samuel Morse himself, via radio, which had been invented by Marconi, who had hitherto been walking around parks in London, using this new apparatus, or testing this new radio apparatus that he devised. So anyway, it was only the actual statement that was sent. It was only like very short, but as usual with consonant analysis, it always yields something that's quite interesting, and it was quite consistent as well with the messages that had been sent, with some sort of like additional nuances that came out that, you know, hitherto I wasn't aware of, particularly context. So what I've actually done is I've got the information on the whiteboard there, and what I'll do at the end is I will actually, at the end of this video, because I had a problem uploading the image, what I'll do is I'll just I'll focus the camera on the whiteboard, hopefully, and then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to pause the screen and just look at the whiteboard image, which it sometimes helps, you know, having something that's graphical rather than something which is just either spoken or is, you know, text on a page. So anyway, I'll just go over the points. So the first point that came out was the first marker was translate from one language to another, which was quite interesting. Second, repent to God, crowning achievement, and you'll find that that's one of the themes throughout this short, very short, pithy statement that was sent. That there's copious references, or there's lots of references to God, which is quite interesting. The next marker is return to one's senses, be rewarded by God, stirred up, excited. So I think that speaks for itself. It sort of like shows that he was, you know, Morse was actually excited by this new development, and that it was a reward. It was a reward basically from God. So it was God given. The next marker is invoke God. So he's actually invoking God's help or assistance, you know, like a prayer, or in Arabic we say dua. That's actually the verb that comes out, da'a, or that's in the range, because what he says, the marker that comes up is actually not in it's between da'a and the verb that precedes, so it's not a verb in itself, but it's actually in a range. So at the start of the range you've got da'a, which you could say to call, and then part of that is to challenge, attack. That's another meaning of this marker, and to stimulate the taste, and so in with that it's sort of like chewing, you know, chewing and biting. So obviously this is a premonition of what, or a model of what he intends to do with this Morse code to the enemy, presumably. Then next we've got mourn, convulse, be shaken. Presumably that's what's going to happen to, he believes is going to happen to the people to whom this Morse code is going to be used against. As he says in his original statement, you know, the wrath, it talks about the wrath of God. And when you read that, it's not overly clear exactly what he's talking about, because it's out of context. I mean, that was the first time I've ever actually heard this phrase spoken with reference to Samuel Morse, so it wasn't quite clear to me exactly why he was saying it. But it becomes clear when you actually do the analysis that he's talking about enemies. The next marker is cheat, impose, overreach, not comprehend, not to comprehend, have no knowledge, unaware, pretend to be stupid, choke, throttle. So obviously this is going to be used as a means of deception to choke the enemy, while at the same time part of its effectiveness is that the people using it will sort of like seem unaware of what's going on, but they'll be sort of like giving each other a nod and a wink, you know, by using these signals, which are just like dots and dashes really, long signals and short signals. But unless you actually know what those short signals and long signals mean, then obviously you're unaware, and you can be choked and throttled without realizing it at any moment. So the next marker I've got is peel, roll thunder, and this actually is this marker actually is for it's actually used for thunder. This particular marker in the real world. Give up the old ways, aim, keep before one's eyes. So give up the old ways is, you know, we don't need the old ways now. We've got this new Morse code. I mean, it's not new now. It's like 108 years old, but back in the day when it was first invented, a bit like consonant analysis, which will probably be an older technology in years to come. It was, you know, it was the bee's knees, you know, the dog's private parts, the dog's bollocks, or the I don't know, all these phrases they used for superlative things. So it was the state of the art. And so that's giving up the old ways. And then he talks about keep before one's eyes. Yeah. So in other words, this technology would keep people, you know, instantly in touch with each other using this new technology that Marconi had developed, you know, in conjunction with that. Because without Marconi's discovery of radio transmission, this technology would not be possible. And so finally we've got provide a string bow, and that's literally what this marker is for in the real world. It's used to talk about giving somebody a string to put in a bow. Do perform at intervals in succession. Now, this is something useful for me actually, because one of the things I do when I'm doing consonant analysis, if I've got letters, well, the letters, what I do is obviously I take the consonants in a string, and then what I do is I feed them back into themselves. So the consonants at the end, I feed back into the consonants at the beginning, so I've got a circle, yeah? Now this is just my idea of how the universe works. It works in a circle, it's cyclical, it's continuous. So that's the idea behind doing that, not knowing whether it really works or not, although the results that come out from doing that do seem to match whatever it is that I'm analysing. However, with this particular example, what comes out from doing that is doing things at intervals in continuation. Which is exactly what Morse code is. It's a precise description of what Morse code is. And actually, I'm just giving like a brief summary. But if you actually read the marker definition, the definition of that particular marker, it's amazing how accurately it describes Morse code. You know, the transmission of Morse code in uninterrupted succession, intermittently. Yeah, intermittent means now and again, like this. It precisely describes it. So that sort of like gives credence to my method of feeding the string back into itself. And yeah, obviously it yields the fact that this technology actually works in that particular manner. So the overall, I would say the themes that I get are war, anger, and God's help. And you sort of like get that as well from the original statement, you know, by the wrath of God, I think it is, by God's wrath, I can't remember exactly. But yeah, so that's really interesting, you know, hidden messages from 108 years ago, and obviously now with the brilliance of consonant analysis, we're able to bring out these things which have been hidden, a bit like Morse code, to find out what was really happening when that phrase was being uttered, what was in the mind of the person. You know, was it, you know, I've just had cornflakes for breakfast. I don't know actually if they had cornflakes in those days, or was it something more. So anyway, hope you find this interesting, and look forward to seeing you at on the next consonant analysis. Hopefully that will be actually the transcription from the Titanic Morse code logs. So I'll catch you later.